Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, huh? No, not good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for attending the final debate of this champion. This is Mohammed Zioud, the Prime Minister of the affirmative team that support the motion that this council believe that the recent Arab summit was below the level of ambition. First of all, I want to identify a couple of terms to make everything is clear. What do we mean by Arab Summit? Arab Summit, it's a periodic meeting of Arab presidents or their representative held in one of Arab capitals or cities to discuss about Arab issues and try to solve Arab problems. What we mean by the level of ambitions? Actually, the level of ambitions is a relative word. It's covered under a huge umbrella. But to make everything specific, we mean by the level of ambitions if this summit output will be accepted regarding to the initial condition that held in, so it will be okay. Otherwise, it will be rejected. This is what we mean by the level of ambitions. So, the exceptional preparation for summit done by Jordan government and King Abdullah Thani by visiting some Arab countries before summit and inviting the Arab president and ask him to attend the summit should be lead to exceptional success. This is what we mean exactly by the level of ambitions. I will draw the general hierarchy of our speech. I am the Prime Minister and I will start by two arguments. The first one related to the foreign interaction in Arab world. And the other argument will be related to the current bad Arab political situation that lead to prevent the summit to achieve its goals. Then my deputy will talk about Palestinian-Israeli conflict and Syrian crisis. These two major critical topics that we have to discuss in each summit. After that, the government member will present another argument in different path, and our colleagues in the government will summarize the whole situation of the affirmative team. My first argument that the Arab Summit used to make the interaction of Russia in Syria and Iran in Yemen is legal. So it's mainly used to legitimization the external interaction. This was very clear in some president speeches when they state that we have to cooperate with external power to fix the problem happened in Arab world. This means we cannot fix our problem by ourselves. And this clearly shows that how the summit doesn't achieve its expected objective. My second argument is, unfortunately, we are surrounded by a lot of bad conditions in this summit. This summit was held in exceptional bad condition. The first one, absent of Yemen due to fighting over there. The fighting over there prevent his president to come and attend the summit. Absent of Arab sense and growing up the national local sense. If we remember what really happened in the summit, each president was mainly focused after he discussed generally the Arab issues. He discussed mainly about its local and its national issues. Number 3, the summit comes after Nouakchott summit that fails to achieve anything related to the Arab problem. This push our summit negatively to achieve what they have to achieve in Nouakchott summit and our summit. Also, there is a lot of complicated problems such as announcement of Donald Trump to create a coalition with Israel and his policy against the ISIS. This announcement was generated at the same time of the summit, and this struggle the summit objective that we want to get. And the growing up of negative Russian rule in Arab world and the Turkish rule in political view and its action to calm our summit down. Also, the pressure of the street to get exceptional summit to achieve the desired goal and compare it to the last summit in Amman 2011 and the last one 1987. This is my argument. By the end of my speech, I hope that I justify my point of view very well as a position of supporter of the motion that this council believe that the recent Arab summit in Amman was below the level of ambitions. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am the head of the opposition. Me and my team are going to present some of the arguments in response first to what he said. I will refute, and then my partners will add to the arguments that I will provide later. First of all, he mentioned something about that the summit considered that we are unable of solving the internal issues without using help from the external countries. Actually, we need help from the external countries, especially when we need support, financial support, and maybe trying to find solutions in cooperation with these countries is going to be better and more efficient by giving us a more experience in dealing with these issues. Also, he's mentioned something about the Arabic-Israeli conflict. I think 1/3 of the recommendations of the summit, I mean not in the number, I mean in the intensity or in the size of the recommendations were regarding the Arab or Israeli conflict, and it took a great part of the summit's time. And they also gave a lot of recommendations, such as that they called all the international countries to refuse the transfer of the capital of Israel to Jerusalem, and this is a very courageous step and is very beneficiary in making awareness in the international community, and this is very important for us. Also, he mentioned something about the last summit. Actually, the debate in this session is not speaking about the last summit or the last summits that were held. We are speaking about the most recent summit that was held in 2017. So let's back to what's relevant more.
Point of information, please.
Go ahead.
Okay. You state that we need external power for finance issues. Do you think we cannot fund our strategies to overcome our problems?
Of course we can, but most of the, as you know, some of the problems that we are facing in here are in response to the external policies and the international community's policies towards the Arab region. So why to take all the responsibility alone? If we have someone to help us, why not? It's not a bad point of view, Blacks. It's a good, it's a beneficiary thing for us. Why to refuse the help from the external countries? Now I will go to my argument, which is actually stating that the overall message from the 28th Arab Summit is, can I lower it down? Is a message of unity, actually. During this hard time and hardship that the Arab region is facing, I think being able to unite and to sit on the same table while the relations are tense even amongst the Arab leaders is a very good achievement and a very good thing for saying that we have the ability to unite and we have the intention to do that. Actually, I also want to mention that, first of all, that some of the media, and a lot of the media, that were trying to assassinate the summit before even it happens by hiring or making the level of expectations even sometimes unbelievable. Some of the people were speaking about doing a Yemeni reconciliation even before the beginning of the summit. So they are holding the summit accountable for things that are sometimes like even before the time of the summit, and that is an assassination. And this is a media attack for the summit before it happens. And the problem also, my next argument is that the change needs time. So you are judging over the summit just less than 1 month after it's being held. So I think it's very early for you to start making assumptions and making judgments and generalizations about the achievements of the summit. I think we need more time to see what is the real outcome of this latest summit. Also, I will stop saying yani. The summit also did something that is unexceptional, actually untraditional, actually. In the 12th paragraph or recommendation of the summit, they instructed the Economic and Social Council of the League of the Arab States to prepare an action plan to implement an action plan to implement the decisions of the previous summits aimed at developing the economic and the Arab cooperation. So I think this summit even tackled the decisions that were made in previous summits. And this promise of making an action plan by the Council is a very good indication of the prospective achievement of the goals on the ground. I want to add also that there was a lot of recommendations which I think are going to turn into reality, as the King Abdullah has stated, and I briefed from his talk. We discussed all the issues in a transparent manner to come up with several recommendations and resolutions, and we will make our effort to translate them into reality. So I believe in King Abdullah when he said that we are going to translate into reality. I think there is a great likelihood, because he is a leader that can be trusted. Also, maybe I might speak about, again, that even the recommendations and the ability to reach consensus actually is important in boosting the Arab solidarity in the face of the regional challenges. So we need a stronger and more unified Arab action that should help and resolve the common issues. I think we have to have a little bit of time and not be in rush to disappoint and to really assassinate the efforts of the leaders made it during the summit. Thank you. If anyone wants to ask a question, I'm ready to answer. Okay.
Good day again, dear audience and judges. I am Hadil Zawahre. I am the deputy of the government team. I will begin by rebuttaling some of the ideas that the other team has offered, and then I will give some arguments for my team. I will talk about different topics regarding the Arab Summit. First, we do believe that the recent Arab Summit was below the level of ambitions. The first point I would like to mention and to highlight on is that when we say that it was below the level of ambitions, we are talking about extraordinary summit that should have been done. Why is that? Because of extensive amount of money, effort, resources and time that have been spent on this summit after failure of different other summits. And why are we mentioning those summits again? Why are we mentioning summits that happened before? Because everyone is expecting something new from a country that has been traveling all over the world and all over the Arab world to gain trust and to invite other Arab countries to our country, and then to make with them agreements and to make a plan. So we are expecting something extraordinary, and we are expecting new plans and agreements. We are not expecting any new declarations. We're not talking about words. We do not need any new words or new conditions, or just mentioning again that yes, we need the peace. We do need a new cooperation between countries. We do need real work, and we do need real steps. The second thing I would like to talk about is that I was waiting for definitions from the. Please wait. I was waiting for definitions from the team that I did not hear about. Please wait. And change needs time. Yes. Change needs time when we are talking about nations, when we are talking about municipalities, when we are talking about my school union. We are not talking about countries. We're talking about governments. We're talking about great countries. We're talking about leagues. We are talking about unions. You're talking about countries that have very strong financially and very strong economy, a very strong policy that could affect and achieve and do steps if they planned to. The other thing I would like to talk about is that they are all words. Before I start my arguments, I would like to ask you, what if we go outside to the streets and ask people, what do you expect from a summit? And what do you know about past summits? They would laugh, of course, like summits, and an Arab summit, and some would give you some poems. I'm sure you could, it. Please wait, and that they're doing nothing for Arabs, and they are not helping them in anything. So I am thinking about a very extraordinary summit that would really help nations. So, first, what do we expect from a summit with no statements, no plans, but the same words, same repeated, non-specific, very traditional speeches that has been done the same as before? And you can compare it from these declarations that have been declared on this one and other past ones. What is the difference? New crises, new wars, new victims, and no achievements. We have been expecting new economical agreements that would help nourish our countries, that would help nourish our economies, and find new jobs and build new areas and new better lives, and they respect other people and respect them by offering them what do they need. We haven't heard anything about new relationships between any other countries. We haven't heard about any pushes toward countries who are forcing themselves and who are getting into other countries' policies. What do we need to know about? We did not hear anything about how they would unite, how they would save other countries and the citizens affected of terrorism and war, and how to push on external policies and how to change and prevent other policies from intervening and from making their parts on our countries. We need to hear about agreements and plans about refugees, the things that is completely lost. We need plans. I again assure that we need plans, we need steps. We need to know in details what would happen to thousands and hundreds of them who are risking their lives, who are fleeing their countries, who are dying in seas. We need to know also about those same Arabs living in other countries, start as refugees and living in Western communities who are completely, who are disagreeing with them and who are refusing them. And how well do we know about them or care that if those other countries refuse them and they wanted them to go back to their other countries, how peaceful their countries would be, what about their countries if they became peaceful again? Yes.
Point of information. First of all, are you trying to compare between the logistical cost, and you want to make out of the logistic cost that has been expended into drawing great expectations? Are you going to change the nation's destiny with the logistics cost of traveling between the states?
I am not talking about logistics. Thank you. I'm not talking about logistics because I have made sure. Please. I have made sure that we are not talking about only money. We are talking about money, we are talking about time, we are talking about different visits that have been done to other Arab countries, and we're talking about a summit that a lot of people are expecting from. Okay, so what do we know again? What do we know about Arabs living in other countries and living in the Western communities who are refusing them and who want to get them back again to their countries? How peaceful are their countries? And what if their own countries became peaceful again? Are they ready to go in there? No. The last thing I would like to talk about, which is very important, is that terrorism and ISIS. Yes, we hear that we need to fight terrorism, we need to prevent it, we need to help our communities from it, but what real steps have been done? Did we fight terrorism through our educational systems? Did we talk about it did we talk about unemployment? Did we help our communities fight it? Did we stop other countries who are forcing themselves and forcing their terrorism on us and their ideologies? No, we did not do that. So again, we're not talking about words, we're not talking about new statements, we're not talking about the same repeated traditional word. We want steps. We need actions, thank you. And we need to know that this Arab Summit was very extraordinary and helping us in a really good way. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Yusuf Murshid, and I'm the deputy of the opposition team over here. Actually, I would like to start by, okay, if you please would, allow me, or may I just rebuttal or refute some points that the Deputy Prime Minister had went through. Well, she just kept on saying, that there were no any points or plans or steps, or let's say clear steps taken in the recent Arab Summit. Well, dear, I tell you that yes, there is lots of steps that were taken, starting by, providing my I just forgot everything. Okay, yeah. Starting by providing my arguments. Now, number one argument is that the recent Arab Summit is a good sign that Arab leaders are somehow united and have the will to change the circumstances in the Arab region by giving solutions and recommendations to solve them. So if we are going to say that the Arab Summit was below ambitious, then we will not, see lots of, leaders of lots of, Arab conflicted countries sitting in one room, right? Now, moving to the next point is that, okay, so despite all the divisions and chaos in the Arab world, the Arabs are able to meet and talk. So this itself, dear, is the first step taken towards, towards finding any solution in the Arab Summit. And okay, so this could happen by trying to, fix the problems and trying to solve them. To choose the best alternative among available ones, despite the complex difficulties and limited resources in some Arabic countries. So once again, the first step in solving any problem over here, ladies and gentlemen, is that what Arab Summit is all about is that bringing them together and the ability to contain the whole picture. Like bringing them all in one room. Thank you. I have already lost lots of time, so I can't do that. Okay, so moving forward by rebuilding a few of the points that the leader of the opposition had come with. The recon with the recon with Israel in return of its withdrawal from the Palestinian territories, that Israel occupied in the 1967 war. Moreover, they demand the world, not to transfer their embassies to Jerusalem, along with also providing them, along with considering Jerusalem as an Israeli capital. So this itself, once again, is another step, or let's say another applicable result of the Arab Summit. So let's just stop saying that the Arab Summit hasn't come out with any, results or any other solutions. Thank you. So moving forward also, now the Arab leaders also expressed their support for the legitimate government in Yemen and for the achievement of national reconciliation in Libya. In addition to their support for efforts to defeat terrorism everywhere. So my last point is that one of the important results in supporting the Yemeni legitimate government and implementing international resolution, which the decision imposed the freezing of assets and the prohibition of travel abroad of the leader of the Houthis, Abdul Malik al-Houthi, and along with Ahmed Ali Abdullah Saleh, the son of the former president, to achieve the security and stability in Yemen. Last thing I would like to mention over here, ladies and gentlemen, that we proved to you that the recent Arab Summit wasn't below the expectations at all, and it resulted in lots of solutions and recognizing of. Okay, yes, please.
Because I really cannot understand what you talk about. Could you define again what you mean by the level of ambitious? Because your opposition leader didn't define it.
Excuse me, once again.
Because I really don't understand what you're talking about. Could you define again what, according to your point of view, what you mean by the level of ambitious? Because your opposition leader didn't define it.
Okay, thank you. Well, allow me at first, before defining the level of ambitious, as you said. Yeah, I know. As you said, this way. Okay, now the level of ambitions that were expected from the summit, the Arab Summit, the recent one that just happened in Jordan in the Dead Sea. What was expected from it was whatever steps were taken, as I mentioned before. Were you listening to me carefully? Because I have mentioned the thing about opening embassies in Jerusalem, along with not also considering Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, and plus also the other steps that were taken towards resolving the Syrian crisis, and also in addition to that, whatever was taken by the authority that I was just talking about in Yemen, that had to freeze the assets of both the Houthis, Abdul Malik al-Houthi, the Houthis leader, along with Ahmed Ali Abdullah Saleh, the son of the former president. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Zina Ibrahim. I am the member of the government and we are with the motion that says this House believes that the recent Arab Summit was below the level of ambitions. As a reply to what the Deputy Leader of Opposition has said about the leaders, okay. Even if our Arab leaders are united and they are able to talk and discuss issues of our region, they are unable to determine which of the issues we are facing in our Arab world and are more important to be discussed, and they are making no progress in any of these issues. The Arab Summit, no, thank you. The Arab Summit revealed the two worlds of regional and domestic threat that Arab leaders have been trying to navigate with little success. The summits focused on regional issues, affirmed heartfelt commitments to peace and the international rule of law on the big political issues that matter to most Arabs, which is Palestine and Syria. The threat of the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, ISIS, refugees, civil wars, and foreign interference. Their inability to translate words into action. The leaders' sincere commitments to Palestinian statehood and a peaceful resolution of wars in Syria and elsewhere in the region reflected their obvious appreciation of how bothered most citizens are by various regional conflicts. Yet governments have been unable to make any progress on any of the big issues that face the region, whether domestic or regional, of course. Yet most Arab citizens ask in despair why their leaders have never been able to muster the will or the means to translate these formidable words into action. Okay, one of the issues discussed on this summit is the case of Syria. The final statement discussed the refugees issue. The Syrians were excluded from this summit. So how can we discuss the crisis and provide solutions for it if the people of the country are not on the scene at that moment? Syria has become like a Cold War. They focused on the Palestinian crisis instead of the Syrian, though the Syrian crisis is the biggest crisis in the region right now, and it should not be left to Western countries to run as they please. Even with the consequences of the military interventions, we could not deal with this crisis. It is not right that this kind of terrible crisis get passed over to international powers to manage as they like and control according to their own interests. One of the most prominent content discussed at this summit is the central issue of Palestine, which reaffirmed the continued work on finding serious and effective Palestinian-Israeli peace negotiations to end the conflict on the basis of two-states solution that guarantees the establishment of an independent Palestinian state, of course with East Jerusalem as its capital. And these were the same decisions that were made in 2002 at the Beirut Summit 15 years ago under the so-called Arab Peace Initiative. And what has changed? Nothing. Netanyahu continues to build more settlements every day. The Palestinian issue was described as a priority. Therefore, Therefore, the issue of unity between the Gaza Strip and the West Bank should be discussed. If they are integrated into their military and civilian institutions and form a single leadership that addresses the word on behalf of the Palestinian people, then we can consider it to be a priority. No. This Amman summit didn't come with anything new. If they collected what has been spent of money on this summit and put it in a fund to help the Palestinian people who are killed every day, it would be more effective and true. Thank you, everyone.
Well, I have previously mentioned that we are evaluating the current summit, and I have said in the beginning that we should not be evaluating the previous summits. The topic of this debate is about the most recent summit. So why do we keep evaluating the results, which are still premature to be held accountable based on the previous summits?
Because this summit is pretty much the same as all the previous summits that had been held, and they did not come with any thing done. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, your honorary chairman, panel, audience, it is a great pleasure to be the final debate. My name is Ahoud Sbehi, and I am the opposition member. This is evident and clear that throughout the history of the Middle East, conflicts have always been present. We have agreed that much. For example, the Israel conflicts with the Arabs concluded in the past. The clear message highlighted was the Arab countries will never reach any resolution for the Israel-Palestine conflict. Nowadays, while recognizing the fact that the Arab League is in a devastated state after the outbreak of armed conflicts in different countries in the region, we still believe that there is a need for negotiation and communication, and leaders for peace to go in between these parties in order to bring them together to find peaceful resolution for their conflicts. I'll check you later. Okay. History gave many examples on how war and armed conflicts can lead to devastating condition and turmoil. Conflicts are innovated that they can lead to positive change. Nonetheless, negative conflicts may lead to a great cycle of violence until the parties reach a stalemate where there is no solution and they can't handle the conflict. Sorry. What is happening in the Arab countries now is devastating, as many Arab countries are busy with civil wars and their interior affairs. At the same time, there are third-person parties leading a major role in provoking wars. Okay. The Arab Summit is a perfect place for Arab countries to join effort to negotiate and discuss the major topics that worry them. Regardless of the conflict that exists in their countries, Arab leaders attend the summit. This attendance can be considered an achievement in itself. It is present the Arab countries' willingness for promoting peace, providing positive solution. Sorry. For example, about Syria and what happened in Syria. For example, in the past year, the Arab Summit has forced too much on the rule of the Syrian government. However, this year, the Arab leaders have agreed to take a more humanitarian stand and focus on helping the Syrian people by providing them with the basic living resource and aid. The summit is important to build personal trust between leaders so they share their fears and suggest solutions, and it's easier to get agreement on difficult issues if the leaders got together by themselves rather than allow official interference. Analysis reveals that the Arab Summit in 2007 was different from previous summits, as it has to deal with various conflicts in Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and Libya. The summit emphasized that the solution is through Arab solidarity, taking into account security solution at the same prospect political solution. The summit was looking for solutions that put away the international interference and bring Arabs together to retrieve Arab nationalism. The latter is based on the unity of the Arab countries' destiny, and they can't survive conflicts unless they cooperate together. As previously, when conflicts reach a stalemate, there is a need for the rule of third party to encourage negotiation, analysis, and summit of a man's suggestion. Point of information. Sorry. Sorry. King Abdullah can lead the rule of negotiation and resolving conflicts between the Arab states. This argument is based on the previous success of King Abdullah is his recent talk with Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America, that to postpone the transfer of the American embassy to Jerusalem. Sorry. Finally, it understood the people are anxious to find resolution for all conflicts that are taking place in the Arab countries. However, the problem is more complicated to be resolved in the Arab Summit. It needs high level of communication, information exchange, political procedures, and continuous negotiation. The best way to guarantee that these procedures are taken is through such a summit. Thank you all.
Hello everyone, I'm Gulistan Said Al-Kurdi. I am the whip of the government. Me and my team, we believe that the last Arab Summit doesn't reach the level of ambitions according to special preparations that focused on having all of the countries. We focusing of the cooperating with the external powers and countries. The whole Arab issues was discussed only generally, comparing the summits by the forcing of the street exception to get an exceptional summit. So why we shouldn't mention that we had 28 Arab summits and Palestine is still under the Zionist occupation. Extraordinary preparation like this that prepared to this summit shouldn't be below the expectation in this way. While having a new wars and a new crisis, we should have a strong statement to discuss. But we had nothing but weak speeches. Where are the plans? Where are the steps? Since they have, then where is the applying? The focus on the focus were on the shells and never discussed the most important issues. The summit sets the stage for the three upcoming April Washington visits by the three Arab leaders. Egypt's Abdel Fattah al-Sisi will visit the White House early on April 3, and Abdullah's visit had been set for April 5. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas had visit yet not be scheduled. They never mentioned the important of the important argument which should be help to solve the Palestinian problem. Is the solution that where's the solution that should be given to solve those innocent souls? Let's not forget that we are arguing about human being souls. As an answer of the deputy of opposition questions, we should talk about that people's souls, we shouldn't talk about the steps and the plans. We are talking about a human being, about souls of a human being. Let's pretend that you are under the fire. Then you are waiting for a summit like this in order to save your soul. Fighting terrorism and ISIS. Okay, how? We left those fights to Kurd armies in Iraq, to the PKK and the YPJ to be solved by them, and we didn't help those souls and those people who is starving and suffering under ISIS fires. How the recent summit did reach the level of ambitions while we only have ink and papers. The deputy of the opposition said that they proved that the summit reached the level of the ambitious, while what he mentioned is a number of information which only talks about the issues that the Arab world faces, not solution, neither clear plans to help the people who suffers under the fire. The leader of the opposition said that we need a help from external countries, while the external countries are doing nothing but powering terrorists to kill innocent people, innocent women, innocent children, as we saw in what Russia did in Syria, Iran, and Yemen. The leader of the opposition said, sorry, my speech will answer all of your questions. The leader of the opposition said that it's very early to discuss the result of the recent summit. Why we only mentioned that the recent summit should focus on the most important problems. Where's the most important problems? Where's the Syrian crisis? Why we always mention the Palestinian crisis? Where's the Syrian souls? Where are the Syrian children? We didn't talk about the most important problems and how to solve it. Not to talk about, they spend all the time talking about the shells, talking about the crisis, not talking about giving a clear plans and a clear ways to solve those problems. Where the Syrian crisis from all of these issues that they discussed, aren't all of these people's souls important? They spend time focusing on the Palestinian crisis, while Syria is the one which suffering now. The opposition member also discussed the Arab-Israeli conflict. Hello Arabs, where is the Syrian crisis? There are many hundreds of people who suffers, bleeding and dying in Syria. Aren't their lives precious? Where are the basic human needs and aids that you talked about, while hundreds in Syria have nothing but rocks to eat? They are starving and they are suffering under the fire. You said that the summit focused about the importance of negotiation. Then you said what we said about before. We focused on the speeches. We didn't focus on the solving of the problems or a clear plan or anything to help those souls. So finally, I insist about my teammates said, and we believe that the recent summit and the most recent summits didn't reach our ambitions and didn't solve any problem and didn't give us a clear plan to have a peace life to those who is suffering. Thank you.
Your honorary panel and audience, it is my great pleasure to once again be standing before you. The first point I would like to speak about is the point that the Prime Minister of the government spoke about. He spoke about that we should, for some reason, be ashamed, or it is a negative that we seek help or support from external countries, for example, European countries or North American countries. However, then my colleague, the leader of the opposition, countered this argument by saying financial and external support is okay. It is a part of relations between the Arabs and countries around the globe. We should not be ashamed of this, and this increases our relations and our trades, and it keeps a good relationship with various countries. Now, for some reason, the government brought up that we should talk about past summits. However, we should be focusing on today and this year and what we have done right now to take the steps towards the betterment of our Arab society and the Arab region. Later, please. This year, there was the message of unity, and we have taken a good step in having most of the leaders sit in Amman. The only ones that were not present were the president of Yemen and the president of Syria. And these are due to, obviously, other circumstances. And later, please. And this is fine. It is fine that they were not present. We should make sure that they are present at the next Arab Summit and make sure that these conflicts are not present so they will have the chance to attend the next Arab Summit. Now, I would like to talk about another point the Prime Minister of the government spoke about. He said that results do not show after just a few summits, and he said that resources go to waste. However, these resources that we are using, the funds, the entire Arab Summit is for a good cause. It does not matter if there is a lot of money put towards it. We are bringing all Arab leaders and all Arab countries together for the message of peace and unity, and we are working towards this goal. So these resources are not going to waste. Later, please. And there's also, they talked about, the government spoke about, it will take time, and they said that we are wasting time and we are not using time efficiently. However, in a time of instability in this region, of course it will take time. It will take patience, and it will take lots of discussions and action to work towards our goals and to work towards the ultimate goal of peace. Now I will go back to the opposition. As the deputy of the opposition spoke about, he said, yes, we have limited resources and funds, but should we just sit back and watch as the situation gets worse? No, leaders have traveled and taken the effort to see the situations firsthand. For example, ISIS and other various terrorist groups. So these are not just empty lies. We are taking action. Now, go ahead.
To get a good relationship with the external powers, we have to let them interact in our issues. You stated that.
Yes. Yes. It is okay to negotiate and allow the European Union. How else are we going to keep relations close with the European Union or the North American countries, like America, for example? We must keep relations good. So we must allow the step to speak. We must be able to speak to them without any issues. We should not banish them or keep to ourselves. I would also, now a point that the member of the opposition made about speaking about past summits. Past summits have, Arab leaders have talked and focused on forcing Bashar al-Assad to step down or to see the issue, to see the governmental issue. However, this year they have taken the good step to identify the issue of the Syrian people and their suffering. How are they taking action? With funds, with aid, humanitarian aid, with accepting refugees. Jordan is accepting millions of refugees, and Lebanon as well. Later, please. Now I would like to highlight a point the member of the government spoke about. She contradicted herself when she said that this year we should have spoke about Syria more. Why did we speak so much about Palestine? However, 2 sentences later, she said that we should be speaking about Palestine more. We should be treating these conflicts equally. There is no conflict that should be treated above another one. We are all Arabs. We should all be seeking peace, and we should not be treating one conflict above the other. They should be on the same spectrum and treated the same. And my final point is that, yes, it will take time. Yes, we have been speaking about the resolutions and solutions for the conflicts in the Arab region. However, it will take time, patience, and effort towards the main goal of peace. Thank you.